so today is going to be the ride or die makeup tag, which is pretty much like your must-have makeup. These are the items that whenever I run out of them, best believe I am going to repurchase them real quick. My channel. If you're new here, then go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload from me. And if you're an oldie but a goodie, then thank you so much. Look at my bun, it's like thank you so much for coming back. I truly appreciate it. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this video, the ride or die makeup tag, also known as like the Holy Grail products as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first things first for me would be my eyebrows. They are normally what I always do first whenever I'm doing my makeup application. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my must-have brow pencil, which is this one that I get from Walmart. It's the NYC. I think it's 98 cents, and this is like my favorite one. Whenever I purchase this, I normally get about 10 of them because they're super affordable, 98 cents. And I love this pencil because it is so affordable and it just always makes my brows look good. I've been using it for such a long time, and this is like my go-to brow product. Like, I'll kind of dibble and dab in a few other products, but this right here is like my go-to. I'm always constantly repurchasing this brow pencil. Pretty much this is what I make the structure of my brows with. So I'll kind of sculpt everything out or structure everything out with this brow pencil, and then I go back with a brow powder and fill everything in. And the brow powder that I just love is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is actually the brow palette. The color that I love is this one right here, is the Ebony, and it kind of has two different shades, a darker and a lighter one, and I pretty much just mix the two together to get the color that I need for my brows. And then to sculpt the brows and, you know, make them look a little bit more clean and precise, I have to have this concealer by MAC, and this is the Studio Finish Concealer. I have been using this for forever and a day, literally like since probably 2010. I have been using this concealer for my brows and I absolutely love it. I use NC42 on the bottom, like underneath, like where my brow bone is, and then I use NC45 on top. So yeah, those are like my must-have brow products. I don't think that that was included on the tag, but I just had to go ahead and put that out there because, you know, brows, they must be on fleek, okay? Next up, we have an eyeshadow primer, and here recently, the one that I have totally been in love with is this one by NARS, and this is the Pro Prime Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. I absolutely love this primer. I've been using it for probably about a year or two. Now, if you've been watching my channel for quite some time, then you might remember I used to be like a die-hard MAC Painterly Paint Pot primer person. Like, I used to always use that as a primer, but ever since I started using this, I hardly ever use Painterly Paint Pot. This is really good. What I like about it is that it doesn't take a lot. Literally, you can just dab it on there, rub it in, and it is literally going to make your eyeshadows last all day and night if you need it to. Now, with face primers, I have so many of them and I'm always using a different one, but I do think that I have two that are like my ride or die that I have repurchased a few times. So the first one is the Too Faced Hangover Primer. I know that I've repurchased this probably 2 times, and I really love this primer because it replenishes the skin, it rejuvenates everything, and if you have any redness, it's going to get rid of the redness. And whenever my skin was breaking out really bad, this was a really great primer because, you know, whenever you're breaking out, sometimes you will have redness. So I love that this primer would pretty much just kind of rejuvenate my skin and get rid of that redness. And this primer also has coconut water in it, and it has a really nice fragrance. It's not thick, it's just a very light consistency, and it also kind of gives me like a tackiness to my face, so I feel like it really just makes my foundation just adhere to my face. And then you guys know that I have the biggest pores of life, especially like on my nose area. So I always have to have a a great primer that is going to minimize the size of the pores. And the one that I've just really have been loving, I would think, is this one by Tarte, and this is the Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. Now, it was hard for me to choose the one for the pores because, like I said, I use so many different ones, but I think this one is the one that I'm like reaching for the most. It's like, you know, ride or die, holy grail. So yeah, we're definitely gonna go with this one. I like it because of the consistency. It's somewhat of a whipped texture, and it really fills in those pores and also those fine lines. So ride or die foundation, I'm pretty sure all of you guys can guess this one. I've been using this foundation faithfully for probably 2, maybe going on 3 years now, and it's the Becca Ultimate Coverage Foundation. You guys know how much I love this. I just cannot rave about it enough, and I love to mix this foundation with different foundations and just do little concoctions, but this is like always my go-to one. No matter what other foundations I try, I always end up going back to this one. Now, before this foundation, I used to be ride or die with MAC Studio Fix Fluid, but no, I don't use that foundation anymore at all because I noticed that it was like a little bit too yellow for me or something. Like, it wasn't really matching the way that I needed it to. But I love this foundation. It's a thicker consistency. If you need coverage, then you will definitely love this one. Now, although it is a thicker consistency, it doesn't feel really heavy on the face. It has a lightweight feel and it blends out really, really nicely. And I don't really notice that it oxidizes. If it does, it's not a whole lot. So yeah, I love this. Now, I do switch between a few different shades because it kind of took me a while to find like my perfect shade, but this one right here is Tobacco. And normally, like I was telling you guys, I love to mix this foundation. I will mix it with the NARS All Day Luminous Glow. I think that's what it's called. I'll put the name in the description box, but I love to mix it with that foundation the most. But yeah, this is my ride or die. If you're looking for a good foundation that's really going to give you coverage, then you need this in your life. So for concealers, I have 2 that are my ride or die. The first one that I want to talk about is the NARS Creamy Radiant, and I have literally repurchased this probably about 5 times. I love this concealer. One reason being is because it's medium to full coverage. It gives you the coverage you need, but it isn't really thick. It doesn't sink into those fine lines. You know how like we'll have fine lines right here? It does not sink into the fine lines. Now, I know with one that I was using from MAC, I forget the name of it, but it would literally always sink into my fine lines. If I did not like really set that bad boy, it would be creasing like crazy. And sometimes I won't even set this and I don't get like the terrible creasing, but I do set it most of the time just because I want to ensure that it's not going to crease throughout the day. But it's just a really great concealer. It conceals and it highlights. It does everything. You know how sometimes people will they'll conceal, and then after they conceal with like their regular color, they'll go in with a highlighter and highlight. I noticed with this you do not have to do that at all because it conceals and it also highlights, and I am in the shade medium dark 1 Biscuit. The other concealer that I wanted to talk about briefly is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I love this, but it actually just fell and broke, so I'll have to get another one soon. I will say that's one thing that I don't like about this, like the packaging. If you drop it, you know, there's a possibility that it can break because I'm guessing this is like glass or something. I mean, it doesn't really sound like glass, but this is actually the second time that I've dropped it and it's broken. But anyways, I like this concealer because it is lightweight, like literally skin-like. Like once you get it blended in, it really blends into your skin and it looks like your skin, but it gives you that coverage. It's weightless, but it gives you a nice highlighted look. It's just a beautiful overall concealer. I love how well it just blends into your skin and looks very skin-like. Now, I would say it doesn't really give the coverage of the NARS concealer, but if you don't have dark circles, because I really don't have dark circles or anything like that, so I'm not in dire need for something that's really going to cover, but I just like the highlighted look. So if you don't really need anything that is going to cover up extreme dark circles, then this will definitely be like your favorite everyday concealer. Next on the list is face powders. I have not set my entire face with a powder in such a long time, but whenever I do, I always go for the MAC Studio Fix powder. Now this is actually a foundation, so it is really full coverage. So whenever I do decide to set my foundation with a powder, I use this one and it's just doing the absolute most because it's like 2 foundations pretty much, but I love the look that it gives you. Like, it is going to make you look really flawless. And yeah, this can actually be worn alone. That's how much coverage it gives you. Yeah, I just like this powder because of the coverage that it gives, and this is a C7. Now, if I'm going for something a little bit more natural, it's also a powder by MAC that I'll use, and this is the Mineralized Skin Finish. And it's a lot lighter than the other product I just showed you guys. This is going to give you more of a sheer finish. So yeah, not a ton of coverage, but it will definitely set your foundation if you need it. Now we're gonna talk about under eye setting powder. The first powder I wanna talk about probably comes at no surprise. It's the Sacha Buttercup Setting Powder. I have probably went through about 5 of these. I love this powder so much. It is kind of like the Ben Nye banana powder, but like 10 times better in my opinion. It's going to be suitable for every skin tone, and it doesn't give you any flashback, which I think is amazing. Now, before this powder, I had went through so many of the banana type powders, and I just found that they were a little bit too ashy looking for my skin tone. But once I tried this one, I was so very pleased, and I just absolutely love the coverage that it gives. If you want to bake, you can bake. You know, if you just want to dust it on, you can do that. So yeah, I really love this. Now, it is a little bit of a thicker powder, so it's going to give you the coverage that you need underneath your eyes. So yeah, I do have a discount code if you guys are interested in checking out this powder. The other powder I want to talk about is by Laura Mercier. Now, this is actually a translucent powder, so it's actually white. The one that I just showed you guys has a yellow tint to it, but as you guys can tell, this is completely white. And I know sometimes that can be a little bit scary, especially if you're a little bit deeper in skin complexion like myself, or even darker. You know, you see something white and you're like, whoa, that's gonna make me look like a ghost. But no, you do not get that at all with this powder. It is amazing. I'm not sure how she done it, but it does not give you a flashback, and it literally will just highlight and just kind of lift and bring forward your under eye, and I love it. This has been one of my favorite powders. Between those two, like, there ain't nothing coming between. Well, I've actually started using the Kat Von D one. I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet, but for right now, these two are like holy grail, ride or die. Like, these are my faves. Blush. You guys know your girl is a complete blush whore, and I have been for quite some time, like probably since high school. I remember my senior year, I kind of started this obsession with blush, and I had this one that I would just always just pack all over my cheeks, like to the point that it looked like bozo. It was a little bit ridiculous. I think it kind of came from being a cheerleader, and we would have to wear like the outrageous makeup, but I guess I thought it was cute because even when we weren't competing, I would still like pack my cheeks full of like this reddish kind of burgundy blush. So yeah, I don't really know what was going on during that phase, but I do specifically remember my senior year in high school, I started wearing a lot of blush. But anywho, your girl still loves blush, but I've toned it down. I don't really reach for the deep berries as much. I do still love them, but the ones that are my go-to are like the neutral kind of pinky peach colors. The first one I want to talk about is Peach Me by MAC, and this is a matte blush, if I'm not, or it says it's a sheer tone. I normally go for more of a sheer tone or a matte finish because I don't really want too much of a shimmer on my cheek because most of the time I'm highlighting. So yeah, this first one is Pinch Me. I love the MAC blushes. They're probably my favorite formula. This next one is Melba, which is kind of a peach color, as you guys can tell. It's kind of peachy neutral. And then another one of my favorite colors is Desert Rose by MAC. And this one's a little bit more on the pinky side, if you guys can tell. And then one of my all-time favorite ones is by NARS. And this one is called Matahari, and it's pink, but it has somewhat of a blue undertone to it. So yeah, those are my favorite color blushes, but probably like my all-time favorite is just the MAC. I love the formula of those. So hands down, my favorite like ride or die bronzer has to be this Guerlain Terracotta bronzer. I've been using it for probably about 1.5 years now, and it's always the one that I'm reaching for. I absolutely love it. It is perfect if you are darker skin complexion. You are going to love this. I know it's hard for us to kind of find shades that really work with our complexion because sometimes they look too gray and too ashy, and then sometimes they look too red and muddy, but this one is literally perfect. It has the perfect amount of reds, but it's like the perfect bronziness. I love this bronzer so much. It really bronzes up the skin, but it's not like over the top or anything like that. I know I've tried a lot of bronzers in the past, but this one has just been the one that I am just always hooked to. Highlighter, y'all already know this was extremely hard for me because I have so many highlighters. I love looking like a little glazed donut, but this was hard. Like, I literally had to just sit down and be like, which one do I want to talk about? So yeah, just know that this is like my favorite as of now. Like, it's the one that I have been going to, but I have so many favorite ones. Like, I'm always mixing them and, you know, coming up with something new, some type of new concoction. But the one that I think that I have just really been loving is Champagne Glow, Prosecco Pop, I cannot talk. Prosecco Pop, is that what it's called? Yes, Prosecco Pop and then Champagne Pop. Yeah, those have been my two favorite ones, and what I like to do is mix those together. It's actually what I have on my face right now, and I think it gives the perfect glow. Now, at first, I wasn't a fan of the Champagne Glow or the Champagne Pop. I felt like it was a little bit like ashy looking on my skin, but the more that I used it, the more that it really grew onto me, and I just really fell in love with it. But now that I mix it with Prosecco Pop, oh my gosh, it is like heaven. I love it so much. And yeah, I just have this little Jaclyn Hill palette, and it has the two highlighters right there, so I just love to kind of dibble and dab into both of those. So my ride or die mascara definitely has to be this MAC Hot and Naughty Lash. I have been using this for probably about 1 year or so, and I've repurchased it about 3 times, and I love it, you guys. I love the fact that it has 2 wands. It has one on the top that is going to work perfect for your lower lashes, and then it has another one that you can use on your top eyelashes. I love the formula of it. It is a little bit of a wet mascara, which I do not mind at all, and it really elongates your eyelashes. I have like the smallest, little tiniest baby lashes of life, but this mascara really makes them look like, you know, there's something going on there. So this is my favorite mascara. Like, I'm always using different ones, but this is like my go-to one. This is the one that I'm gonna constantly be repurchasing and constantly always using. So for liquid lipsticks, I could probably do an entire video about them because my obsession with them is absolutely real, and I probably own about 100 liquid lipsticks. Like, that is not an over exaggeration. I am obsessed with liquid lipsticks because I love a matte lip. I have loved a matte lip from the beginning. So whenever they created liquid lipsticks, it was like, ah, like they done that for me, you know? So I have so many that I love, and literally I love all the shades from the nudest of the nude to the vamp of the vampy, you know? So my favorite brands, so I have 2 favorite brands. Well, two brands that I feel like I wear the most are definitely Anastasia Beverly Hills and ColourPop. And the two shades that I'm showing you guys are neutral shades. This one by Anastasia Beverly Hills is actually called Stripped, and it's a very nude color. I pretty much love to use this to kind of get an ombre look. I'll use like a darker lip liner with it sometimes, like a brown lip liner, and just kind of ombre it out a little bit. And then this one is, I don't know if it's Shy or Chi, but yeah, this one is by ColourPop, and I love this neutral shade as well. It's kind of got a little hint of brown to it, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And I love to wear this one either alone with a lip liner or also kind of ombre it out as well. So my favorite lashes have to be the Koko Lashes. I am all the time stocking up on these. I have so many of these, and yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys a few of my favorite styles. So the first one I want to talk about is Soho. Now this is a very long and wispy lash, but it's definitely going to catch attention if that's what you're looking for. Now this lash is not for the faint at heart. It's out there. It's definitely gonna, you know, grab some attention because it is so long. Next style that I want to talk about is called Queen Bee. Now this one isn't quite as long as Soho, but it is a little bit fuller. I love this lash. I would consider it like an everyday lash for myself, but you know, I'm a little bit extra, and if you aren't like into the drama, then this definitely would not be an everyday lash for you because it is a little bit much. But yeah, it will really make your eyes nice and flirty and enhance any eye look that you do. And then we have Goddess. Now this style is more on the spiky style if you're into that. If you guys have seen those type of eyelashes that kind of look like they have short and long lengths, but they're a little bit spiky. So yeah, that is what Goddess is all about. And then I also love the Risque. I don't have one on hand, but Risque is another style by Koko Lashes that I really love. And the Koko Lashes are probably about $7.99. So it's a little bit more than like your normal lash, which is probably about $2.99, but you know, it isn't like up there with the mink lash price or anything like that. And next on the list is setting spray, and by far my favorite one is the Scandinavia. I have been using this for years, literally 4 years. I think I have been using this since 2010, and whenever I used to freelance a lot, this was like my go-to setting spray. And they have really just expanded their brand. Like they make like primer sprays now, and then they still have like the finishing sprays, and I just love this brand. Like if you need something that is going to lock your foundation in, then definitely try the Scandinavia setting spray. Last but most definitely not least on the list is Ride or Die perfume, and I would have to say for myself it is the Viktor & Rolf Flower Bomb. I love this perfume. It is like my go-to one, and I have so many, but this is the one that if I don't know what fragrance I want to smell like for the day, this is usually the one that I go to. Yeah, it just smells so good. I literally have this in a big bottle. I have it in a little small one that goes in my purse, and then I have it in like the limited edition ones. I love this fragrance. I think it just smells so nice and mature and just like a grown woman, like you bout that life, you know what I mean? So yeah, this is my favorite fragrance. It's my go-to one. All right guys, so that concludes my Ride or Die makeup tag. If you guys have filmed one of these videos, then definitely link it below or let me know below so I can check it out. I would love to see what some of your favorite products are. And if you guys are interested in seeing some of my favorite drugstore products, then check out my top 10 under 10. I will link that video below so you guys can check it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and as always, I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.